Hog Out. Yes, here we go. We're live streaming on Hog Out. I was waiting for it to come on. It looks like there might be a bit of a slow internet connection, but hopefully it quickens up. But we're going to be discussing SRH's great victory over RR last night and jumping over the top of CSK on that IPL ladder, getting into the top four. And then there's a big game, Mumbai Indians against KKR tonight. KKR, they have a victory, and all of a sudden they are more than certain of playing in the playoffs if they do win tonight. And Mumbai Indians are just trying to keep their head above water. Let's find out what I've got to say just after the break. Roll bumper. Well, let's get straight into it. Last night, SRH taking on RR, and SRH won by 1 run. And the main reason because of that, the main reason why they won was because of this man, Bhuvneshwar Kumar. I loved the way that he bowled in that death over out the final stages against Powell. Powell's got some power, but just the way he executed the Yorker, the way he kept his composure. He didn't get in the World Cup squad. He didn't sulk. No, he just came out and did the business for SRH. The other thing that I like about Bhuvneshwar Kumar is when he was opening up against Butler and Sanju Samson. He had a first slip in play and then a short third man who was fine, and he was trying to get both Sanju Samson and Butler to think about working it just past that short man, out third man. And as you open up the face of the bat, there's a chance as he swings the ball away to feed the slips. So he got the outside edge of Butler, and then Sanju Samson comes in thinking, right, he's going to keep bowling away because he's got the field set there, and bang, the big in-swinger and bowled him beautifully. So well done to Bhuvneshwar Kumar, loving that he's starting to find his straps again and start bowling out his best. Well done, Boobie. Well done, Boobie. Now, Boobie didn't get picked in the T20 World Cup squad, but someone else did. We're going to bring up this picture now. Who is it? It's Chahal. Now, I'm a little bit worried about Chahal's form. I'm worried about where he's going to fit in that T20 World Cup team. That final 11, I don't think he's going to kick Kuldeep Yadav out because he has a poor record against left-handers in this IPL. And there's going to be a few teams with good left-handed batsmen going to play against him in the World Cup. He doesn't have any answers for it. He just tries to bowl slow, wide leg spinners or quick leg spinners into the pads. He's not utilising that back spinner. He's not utilising a strong run. He doesn't have good changes of pace. When he does change the pace, it just sits up there, and the left-handers can either hit with a spin if he's on the stumps, or if they're wide, it's just an easy shot down the ground. He's got to find answers to left-handed batsmen. So I'm a little bit concerned about him moving forward in that T20 World Cup. Now, there's some great performances by a couple of youngsters last night. The first one, Parag. What a wonderful innings chasing. I love his composure. He dropped a catch early on. That was Travis Head with Bolt swinging it away. That was the first ball of the game. He's generally got a good set of hands, and he's a very good fielder, and that was a little lapse of concentration last night. We don't see him drop too many catches, but he is coming of age this IPL. I loved his composure. I loved the way that he just stood there and kept it nice and simple. If the ball's outside off stump, he goes through the cover region. If it's straight, he'll try and hit it straight. If it's on the legs, he'll go leg side. He hits the ball where the ball should be hit. And if there's fielders in the deep, he'll still try and go over that particular fielder, keeping the basics, keeping it nice and simple. Really enjoying watching him. And it won't be too long before he'll be playing for India. And there's another youngster that was playing last night that it won't take too long for him to knock Hardik Pandya out of that all-round spot. He's coming of age with the bat. Last night with the ball, he didn't really have the best night with the ball, but the way that he batted was sensational, again, under pressure. But the thing I liked about this innings last night is that he was quite conservative when he first came out. There was a little bit of pressure there, and he didn't lose that composure. He didn't lose his train of thought. He didn't play a shot that wasn't there. He thought, right, I've set myself up. I think he was about 20 off 20 balls. And he set himself up and he thought, right, I've got to do the job here. And he just kept his shape when he started to go after the bowling and find those boundaries. I loved the mental process of it, the way he timed his innings and the way he finished it off. Nitish Reddy, watch out for him in 2 years' time, playing for India as the all-rounder. Okay, we've got a big one tonight. Let's get away from that game. Bad luck to Rajasthan Royals, my team. Well done to SRH. Putting pressure on Chennai Super Kings. I know there's a lot of fans that watch here from the Chennai Super Kings, and they look as though they're struggling. But Mumbai Kolkata Knight Riders tonight, and this is a big game for both teams. Kolkata Knight Riders, they need to win to establish themselves in that top four and to make it difficult for other teams to kick them out. But they're up against Mumbai, who are desperate for a win to keep their head above water in this contest. I'm worried about this one for my team, Kolkata Knight Riders, because we've got some stats coming up right here with Kolkata playing at 1 KD. They've played 16 matches and only won 4 and lost 12. But remember, some of those wins were in that year where they just played the IPL in Mumbai, and it wasn't against the Mumbai Indians. So there's a bit of a problem there for KKR. Now, I just want to quickly go through some stats before we look at the big matchups that I want to talk about. The KKR batters really struggle. In the power play at 1 KD, they have got the worst record of any team in the IPL, apart from Lucknow Super Giants. They have a strike rate of around 6.95 and over, and they average 22 per wicket in a power play. You're not going to win games with power plays like that. And then we go through the batting order. I don't know whether they're going to go with Narayan opening the batting, but he averages about 6 out 1 KD Stadium. Shreyas Iyer, he hasn't got a bad average, but a very poor strike rate here out 1 KD. Russell's got a high strike rate, but a very low average, as well as Rinko Singh. So their core batters really struggle here out 1 KD. Venkatesh Iyer, though, he really has a good time of it here, and he's going to hold the fort. So their batters have got to stand up tonight if they've got any chance. So what are the matchups that we're going to look for tonight? Who are we going to talk about first? I think we've got Sunny Narayan coming up. There we go. Now, Sunny Narayan, how are Kolkata Knight Riders going to use him? Because Rohit Sharma has got a poor record against Sunny Narayan. But there's one thing with Sunny Narayan's stats. He doesn't have a wicket in the power play out 1 KD. In the middle overs, that's where he really controls it, gets wickets, but also controls the run rate. So for me, I wouldn't use Sunny Narayan in the power play against Rohit Sharma. I would leave the fast bowlers and Chakravarti to do the work there, because I think Sunny Narayan will have to bowl a lot against Sky. And if you get Sky out early, then save him up against Tim David, because those two particular players are the danger men for Kolkata Knight Riders for Mumbai to take the game away. So save Narayan for those other two. Don't waste him on Rohit Sharma. Now, we're going to the reason why I don't want Kolkata to waste Narayan's overs against Rohit Sharma. We can get Big Rohit up on his single profile there. Well done, AK. Rohit Sharma's century against CSK out 1 KD, although it was a good century, his strike rate was below the strike rate needed to win the game. So the strike rate to win the game was around about 171, 177. Rohit's strike rate was in the mid 160s. If you're going to bat through the innings, you've got to make it up out the back end. like Reddy did the other day for last night for Sunrisers Hyderabad, like Virat Kohli does when he bats through the innings for India. His strike rate is slow in the early overs, but then he powers away or increases that strike rate as the innings goes on. And if he's there for the final 4 or 5 overs, his strike rate just blossoms out to up to the 190s and sometimes gets it up into the 200s out that back end. So that's what Rohit Sharma's got to think about doing tonight. So for me, that's the matchups that I'm interested in seeing tonight against Mumbai versus Kolkata. Now, I'm not going to give a prediction right now because we've got a special guest coming in, another fan, Ishan, and he's a fast bowler that bowls a couple of overs in backyard cricket. And because it's quite hot there in Pune, he slows it down and then goes back to the off spin just to save a little bit of energy. So we're just waiting for him to come up. While he's coming up to the screen, we've got Farhan. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Eshan. Just hold on one sec, mate. Sorry. I'm a CRH fan. This is Farhan, but I'm going to support MI today because it'll be better for SH to go to second position in the points table if KKR stops winning. Now, Farhan, I like your thinking, and I like the fact that you go for SRH, and I don't mind SRH because they've got Pat Cummins in there and Travis Head, and I like Klasan, but I've played for KKR, so I'm hoping that you'll be saddened by a KKR win tonight against Mumbai Indians. But that's what I love about the fans here. They've got their support for their teams. And I really want success for SRH tonight, but not out the jeopardy of KKR or Rajasthan Royals. Now, Eshan, how are you going?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm going fantastically well today. I've had a great day. It's been busy. But tonight, I'm really looking forward to KKR taking on Mumbai Indians. I was disappointed last night. Rajasthan Royals should have won that game. They had some big hitters out the back end. But there's one thing with that last game, which I didn't mention, but I'll bring it up with you. Remember the last ball, our facing Bhuvneshwar Kumar. They needed one to tie to go to the super over and two. Now, they've just picked up a couple of twos beforehand. Why didn't Power just block it out to the deep and they try and run to win the game because the fielding had been a bit sloppy rather than try and play a big hit because you knew that Bhuvneshwar Kumar was going to bowl that Yorker? What do you think about that?
Yeah, people have seen Bhuvneshwar over the years, must have known that he would bowl in the death overs. So it's a bit of a surprise that they were still looking to hit boundaries.
Yep, no, exactly right. And I thought that was going down leg side last night, that LBW. But that's just a Rajasthan Royals bias fan. No, I was hitting their leg stump. Now, before we get to the toss today, what's your first question for us, mate?
Okay, so my first question is the fact that you just stated that Russell has got a good record against MI in Wankhede. So what about Russell batting up the order with the inclusion of Rinku Singh and the emergence of Ramandeep as a finisher? They should probably take some load off Russell and let him unleash himself in the top 4 or 5, I guess. Don't keep every Tom, Dick and Harry above him and like that.
Yeah, I think with Riku Singh and Andre Russell, I think one of them's got to come in earlier. And I'd probably rather Russell, especially against Chawla out Wankhede Stadium because Chawla hasn't really been bowling his best. And they probably want to try and utilise Hardik Pandya through that particular period. And if they use Hardik Pandya and Russell can get a hold of Hardik Pandya, then all of a sudden they might go to Boomerang a lot earlier, and that will waste Boomerang's overs to bowl in the death, and that will free up Rinko Singh out the back end. So very good thought process there. And even if you bring Russell in front of Venkatesh Iyer, and that causes Boomerang to come on and waste those overs, someone like Venkatesh Iyer could finish off with Rinku Singh as well. So very good observation there, mate. Very good observation. Yeah. Absolutely love it.
And even Ramandeep has played for MI at Wankhede and he has got some good innings there, so he can even come up as a surprise.
Randeep Singh, actually, what about this? You bring him in a little earlier and save Russell a bit later.
Yeah,
But yeah, but Randeep Singh, how good is he in the field? Absolutely
he,
enjoying what I'm seeing there.
yeah, he's
Some
excellent.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. No, that is very good observation and good strategy. Hopefully, Gautam Gambhir is just hearing this as they're catching the bus going down to Wankhede Stadium.
Yeah.
What's your next question, please, mate?
Yeah. So as we are saying that some people are struggling to find their season throughout the form, like Rane this season, while the others like Maxwell are getting dropped for someone like Will Jacks to come in. So this is a reputation sort of thing to keep a player play throughout the season and not give any youngster a chance. Like there are difference in ideologies of CSK and RCB. So which one do you prefer? Like backing a player throughout the season or dropping him irrespective of his social status.
I love the way that CSK go about it because they give players certain roles and they back those players to do it. I really love the trust that they provide. So I'd prefer that manner. But then when you're looking at RCB and you're looking at someone like a Glenn Maxwell,
Hmm.
sometimes when he's having a poor run, it's a long run. So you look at the history of that, and you just think to yourself, how long can I keep him in here? How long can I keep Glenn Maxwell in the team? And I just think they pulled the trigger too late. I think they should have played Jakes out Wankhede Stadium and kept Green in the team. I just think they made a big blunder there because then they went to Green the next game. And I've stated this a couple of times in the past. Green had a good season for Mumbai out Wankhede Stadium. That was a perfect opportunity just to have trust in him and forget about Glenn Maxwell. And you're using Green as that other option with your pace as well, which they'd been struggling up until that stage. I just really enjoyed what Will Jakes has got, and it just shows that sometimes the cheaper options that you have out there have a little bit more fight and less pressure on them because they're not getting paid the big bucks and they can go out there and play with a little bit more freedom. So RCB for me, I just think they get things wrong in this on the selection table with their 11, but also on the selection table when they go to the auctions as well. I think they spend too big on too few players. They don't spread out their talent.
Yeah, but Maxwell is a different beast when in yellow jersey. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you look at the history of Glenn Maxwell, there's only probably out of the number of seasons that he's been there, I think you're probably only getting value for money 15% of the time, and that's
hmm,
if you look at the seasons, might be a bit harsh there, but probably 20% of the time. Yeah, you can't back that sort of consistency. And
hmm.
if you're going to spend big on that, you've got to have big money on a player like that. You've got to have consistency, and that's not what you're getting there. And that's pretty tough on Glenn Maxwell. I love it when he comes off, but I think they're having a bit of a poor run there at the moment with him.
Hmm.
Mm. What do you think about that, actually? Do you reckon I'm too harsh on Glenn Maxwell?
No, I think we have given him enough chances to perform in the IPL. Like someone like Puran comes ahead and justifies himself to be backed more than Maxwell. So I don't think Maxwell should be backed that much, and he should make room for new youngsters. Like there's someone like Gurbaz who's sitting outside in KKR, or someone like Sherfin Rutherford who is sitting outside. So
Mm.
these guys can regularly feature in the playing 11 of a team if given chance. Like I've seen them like saving the matches with dependency in other leagues like PSL or the CPL. So why not IPL?
Yep. No, exactly right. No, I think if I look around the teams now with the big hitters from the Caribbean that are playing in this IPL, I think they have been better value than some of the Australians that have been that have been on the team sheets. And then you look out certain players that have injuries as well. That injury history, I think there's certain teams that haven't selected appropriately there. Knowing that the fitness history of certain overseas players as well. So, there's team management has to be looked at, and we've got a bit of toss time, but it hasn't happened as yet. Just before we get to your next question, while these comments are coming on the side, because we've got another 30 minutes, we just let these guys have a bit of a say as well. Priyana Shu, I hope I said that. Is that Priyana Shu? Exactly, Brad. CSK is very organised usually, but this season I'm hating what they are doing. To do out 4 is not working. We are not using Moen to full potential. Priyana Shu, I agree with you. I think Moen Ali probably should be coming in out 4 if they're not going to have Dubé there. Or Dubai. I think Moen Ali's probably better suited up the order. I think he's got a little bit more power. Ishan, what do you think about that comment?
Yeah, I agree on that. Moeen has been a fantastic batsman over the years. Like, I remember he started his career as an opener for England, and he moved downwards just like Shahid Afridi did. So it's a downwards career progression, but he's still good in the 20-over format. And the role which he had at CSK 2 years ago, like coming out at number 3, and he made Raina kind of retire from IPL after that season. So I think he should be back more. I was actually surprised to see Rahane getting more chances over him last season, but it did eventually back them, and they won in the final. Rahane played a decent innings. So I think that was the reason Moeen was certainly forgotten.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And actually, talking about Rahane there, Ajinkya Rahane, he's one of my favourite Indian cricketers. I play with him out Rajasthan Royals, and he's just an absolutely lovely human being and a fantastic Test cricketer. I wanted to see play a lot more. I was disappointed when they dropped him, especially going overseas. I think he's definitely one that you've got to have in your 11 when you're going overseas. But he's getting long in the tooth now, and he might his Test career is finished. Just before, MI chose to bowl, which is a good, which could be good because that would take pressure off the run chase for KKR. But the problem there, will there be dew tonight, which will dampen Chakravarti's and Narayan's impact? That's probably the only worry. Ishan, MR choosing to bowl, are you happy with that?
No, I am not. I was thinking that KKR should have fielded.
Yep. No. Well, KKR had no choice in it because MI won the toss and chose to bowl. I'm just Aman Dar comes in for Mohammad Nabi for Mumbai Indians. I'm trying to figure out why that would happen. I thought Nabi's been doing a pretty good job. You happy with that change with Mumbai for Kolkata Knight Riders' sake?
No, I think that doesn't make that much of a difference. But I'm scared more about the fact that MI is going to chase, and these guys have got a point to prove over here that they can win, and they won't. They are not the table bottomers. So I'm scared about that. I think that KKR should have won the toss for good.
Well, I tell you what, I'm happy with actually KKR batting first. The reason being, they've had a poor record at batting out 1KD Stadium, so all of a sudden they can go out there. They don't have a score on the board that they've got to chase. They can go out and have fun. They've got a little bit of freedom in a sense that they know this is their bogey ground, but this is their 10th game, and they've still got 4 games left. So they've got a lot up their sleeve to be able to get over and get into the playoffs. So they can go out and have a little bit of fun with the bat. And if they get 180 to 200, if anywhere in between that, I think that will be enough pressure for Mumbai in a run chase, knowing that Mumbai have to win tonight. And then you've got someone like Rowett, where they struggled against CSK and he got the 100. He might be a little bit more aggressive out the top order. And then if they get him out, then they can use Narayan down the back end against David and Sky, as I said, out the top end, because that's the big matchup. Narayan controlling those 2 batters, because I don't think the rest have got the experience or the composure to get them over the line, or that firepower. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that KKR can certainly strike some few wickets early in the power play with Vaibhav swinging the ball both ways. That is certainly possible. But I remember the last time we played against MI, Venki got 100 and still we lost. Like Ishan Kishan was on fire, and these 2 openers took the game quite far away in the power play itself. So taking early wickets has been a challenge for KKR for so long now. And I'm hoping that Vaibhav continues to show his class, and even Stark jumps in. And of course, Phil Salt becomes a Chris Lynn today. Chris Lynn has got some good innings at Wankhede, so Phil Salt can become that person. We can certainly win tonight. I'm expecting a century out of him.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking Phil Salt could be the difference here too, because you've mentioned Chris Lynn. I think Phil Salt is a better batter in IPL conditions than what Phil Lynn is. Yeah, he's got the 360. He's reasonable against spin. There's more scoring options than what Chris Lynn had. So for me, I think Salt is a good inclusion. I still haven't got a team up here for who's playing, which is a bit of a worry. I'm trying to figure out whether Mitchell Stark is playing or not. If someone can tell me whether Mitchell Stark is playing, that would be great down the side on the comments, because I just think Mumbai, Wankhede Stadium, there might be a little bit of swing there for him. And that extra bounce, I reckon this is the wicket where he can gain confidence and turn it around for KKR tonight. So let's get on the big screen. Hopefully, there we go. Mitchell Stark is in the 11. And Aurora is playing because Rana was a bit of a naughty boy giving a send-off the other night. And I do agree with some of the comments out there that other senior players have been a little bit naughty out there and not getting the same treatment as Nitish Rana, which is a little disappointing, because he would have been great on this wicket tonight. And just looking at the Mumbai Indians side, Dyer is opening with Kishan. So they're fielding first. So I'm presuming that Rohit Sharma will come in, open the batting as an impact player with that particular lineup. So what, Ishan, what do you think about those lineups? Are you happy with them?
Yep, I'm certainly happy with them, but even more happier if Harshit Rana would have played today. He could have been the difference. He was literally the only guy who was taking wickets in the middle orders, apart from the spinners. So I was hoping to see him get the purple cap over the course of time, but cricket is unfair.
I've just really loved the way that he's got that energy. He wants to get into the opposition. But I was looking at some highlights as well, and I just think he's got something to bowl in the death overs where he can really execute some good Yorkers with some quality bounces. I think there's a lot of upside with him. I like his pace as well. So he's going to be sorely missed. Raghavanshi, the youngster, I'm quite liking what I see with him with the bat as well. There's a bit of talent there, and I think with the ball coming on out Wankhede Stadium tonight, he could score a big tonight. The youngster. What do you think about him? Do you think he's got the talent to take on this paced attack of Mumbai?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the best ground that he'll get to bat on. And he's got a Gill sort of technique, like a sheer amount of resemblance I can see in their batting techniques. Plus, he has got the 360-degree way out, so he can like churn the runs in the middle overs as well, unlike Gill. So I feel that
Yep.
Raghuvanshi has got talent and skills too, but unfortunately, he hasn't fired since the first game, I guess, against the Delhi Capitals. Of course, he
Yeah.
hasn't gotten chance to bat in a few of the innings, but I feel that Raghuvanshi can come out good, and he can be a prospect retention too.
Well, I am looking forward to him facing Boomerang tonight, and I can see Boomerang trying to bowl that searing Yorker, and Raghuvanshi just slightly timing it through mid wicket for 4. So I think he'll get one boundary off Boomerang tonight. So I'll be looking forward to that. Now, while we're talking about that, you had a couple of other questions, didn't you? We better
Yeah,
get
yeah.
them out of the way before time comes. Yes.
Yeah, so the one question I had was regarding the overseas slot and playing spinners. Like you have also played for the KKR. So I have seen that during the 2013-2015 era, like there was Sachitra Senanaike, the Sri Lankan off spinner who used to play along with Narain. And then you, I guess, also played with Sunil Narain in some matches. So what was that mindset of Gautam Gambhir that trying out to play with two overseas spinners, unlike other teams who are hesitant to play even with one overseas spinners and they think that they will just get the job done with an Indian spinner? So why not pick someone with quality like guys like Ish Sodhi, who was taking too many wickets for Rajasthan Royals back in 2019-20, sit out for the whole season and then went unsold. Mujibur Rahman went unsold this auction. Like RCB could have bought him and they didn't have to struggle with Karan Sharma and Mayank Tagar for that matter.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think when you go into an auction, you've got to sit into your look at your list, and for me, you've got to sit there and go, we've got to get quality Indian batsmen and quality Indian bowlers. So if you don't get the main spinners from India, then you try and get the main quick bowlers or the best quick bowlers from India and then go to your overseas spinners. So it depends how your auction is going. You can't sit there and go, right, I'm going to invest in overseas quicks and overseas batsmen and then get a spinner
Hmm.
um, because you can only play 4 in the 11. So you've got to sit there and go, right, these are the spinners that we've got here in India. Are there any young spinners out there that can do a job that are going to be the next Ashwin or the next Kuldeep Yadav or the next Chahal? So if there are, can we back them? Have we got the have we got someone to get them in the right mindset to do it? So that's how I'd look at it. And if I can't find an Indian spinner like that, then I'd look at my overseas options. Overseas spinners for me, you're taking a big risk because you're only gonna you really only need one spinner in most of your teams or two spinners. So the second spinner is generally a part timer who can bat a
Hmm.
bit. So for me, you try and invest heavily on Indian spinners because it's tough to go from Australia over to India and bowl on those different conditions. So that's how I'd go about it. Um, so hopefully that's answered the question well.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically I'll sum it up. If I'm a coach, I'm looking out there. If I haven't picked up an Indian spinner, a quality Indian spinner up front, um, then I'll go for the overseas player. But I'm basically looking at getting my pace, my Indian pace right, and my Indian batters right. And then if I need an overseas spinner, That's the only time I'll get the overseas spinner is when the majority I've got my pace covered by a full Indian contingent. Does that answer it okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if I think Delhi, I mean, Lucknow Super Giants mainly use their Indian fast bowlers, and Delhi can just about use all their Indian fast bowlers. So that's where you think about using an overseas spinner, but they've got quality Indian spinners as well. And I'm always one that you've got to have a good defensive game. Your bowlers are more important than your batters, because if you've got a
Hmm.
bowling unit that can defend like Lucknow Super Giants, you've got a better chance of winning finals, because when it comes to finals, that's where batters start to be a little bit more tentative. But we'll see that this year. See if the batsmen are just as aggressive as what they've been in the early parts of the IPL. That's a good question, and it really makes me think. Great question, Ishan. What's your next one?
Thanks. Okay, so the one is regarding the part timers that you just mentioned. Previously, we had players who were prominent batsmen of the era, but they were still good part timers like Virender Sehwag, Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, or Yuvraj Singh or Suresh Raina for that matter. But nowadays,
Is that
even
your
the
girlfriend on the phone?
no, no, no.
Yeah, go on. So the part timers,
Yeah.
we've got to have a
So
bit of
now
fun, mate.
yeah, yeah. Did you lose me
Yeah.
somewhere, or I should repeat the
No, it's
question?
just your phone rang. Your phone rang. Yeah, go on.
Okay, okay,
Continue with the
okay,
question.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So previously there were batsmen who could bowl all great quality spin like Sehwag, Sachin, Ganguly, Yuvraj, Raina, and they were yet great batsmen in the middle orders or the openers. But nowadays, even the players who used to bowl are shifting towards a more one dimension. Like we can
Mm,
see Rohit Sharma leaving bowling spin, though I guess he has an hat trick in IPL. And the players like Yashasvi, I have heard he was a left-arm Chinaman bowler, and then he
yep.
gave up on bowling. Shreyas Iyer used to bowl leg spin, now he's bowling off spin, and now he has altogether stopped bowling. And there was Virat who took 2 wickets in the semi-final of a T20 World Cup, but he doesn't come to bowl ever in the IPL. And leave up aside the batsmen, even the all-rounders have left bowling. Like Shivam Dubey is not bowling at all nowadays. Venkatesh Iyer is not
Mm,
bowling. Nitish Rana got AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli out on consecutive balls, and he isn't
yeah.
bowling anytime. Abhishek Sharma, he was an all-rounder. He used to play for Delhi at number 7, for SRH at number 7, 3, 5, and progressed as an opener. Now that he's an opener, he has stopped bowling. So I know the pattern that the impact player rule has certainly affected this thing, and people are trying to get more overs of a proper bowler. But in the internationals, it is certainly going to affect the teams. Like India is seeing the emergence of finishers like Ashutosh, Rinku, Shah Rukh Khan. These are proper finishers, but if they won't bowl, how will they come into the Indian team?
Yeah, well, exactly right, and I think that's probably going to be your biggest headache going into this year's World Cup. You've got you're trying to get a lineup there, and I went through the 11 for India. I'll just try and get it up. What bowling lineup I had there. So with India, I had the team Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Sampson, Yadav, Pant, Pandya, Jadeja, Patel, Yadav, that's Kuldeep Yadav, Singh or Siraj, and Boomerang. Someone like Pandya and Jadeja are your all rounders. Pandya is not getting a full quota of 4 overs in IPL. So when he comes to the T20 World Cup, how's he expect to dominate in that particular arena? In previous IPLs, he's had to bowl 4 overs most games. And under pressure as well. And he bowled pretty well with the new ball out certain stages. But the other thing is he's coming back from injury. So those all-rounders aren't getting the overs that they should be getting to prepare themselves for the World Cup. Totally agree with you. But I think with the impact play that we've had here in the IPL, I think that they probably should bring it in the T20 World Cup or in international cricket as well. I think it's a great initiative, because I'm looking at a batsman can bat the whole innings, but a bowler can't bowl the whole innings. And you want to even the contest between bat and ball. And if you're getting totals more often over 200 and the scores are increasing, you want to have better bowling against the batters. So for me, I think bring in another impact player in all forms of T20 cricket. And that will give you depth in bowling and a better contest between bat and ball. And because you've got one extra batter that you can play because of the impact player, you can still be more aggressive. So there's going to be a little bit more excitement. There's nothing worse than having a team where they've got to play an all-rounder just to try and get that extra batter in, but that all-rounder, his bowling quality is not of a standard where it's an even contest where you're putting pressure on the batsman. So for me, I'd like it with the impact player denting those part-timers to bowl more overs in the game. I'd rather see less of it and see better quality bowling more often against good quality batting. Oh, hang on. We've got Priyashu here. He's thrown in a little bit of coin for me. What would your top four if Mumbai Indians win today? My top four are Rajasthan Royals, Kolkata Knight Riders will still be in there, and I think Lucknow Super Giants are going to hold their place up there. Hang on. Yep, Lucknow Super Giants, and I think that SRH have just about done enough to show that they're worthy of staying in the top four. So that would be my top four now. I don't think it's going to change out the back end. Chennai Super Kings losing against Punjab Kings the other night on their home soil. They're gone. They're done. They can't afford to lose those games. They've got Punjab Kings, Gujarat Titans, and Rajasthan Royals out the back end, and I just think that loss has cost them. What do you think, Ishan?
Yeah, I think the same, but I think that LSG, KKR, Rajasthan, and SRH will be the team.
Yeah, I think we've got the top four there, but it could change. Have you got any other questions for me before we move on? Because the game's nearly about to start.
Yeah.
No?
You've
more
answered
questions?
all of them.
I've answered all of them. All right. Harish T, SRH, where are we? SRH, and thanks very much, Priyan Shaw, for your little contribution there. Thank you so much for that. SRH also has foreign quality spinners like Aidan Markram and Glenn Phillips. Why are they not using those spinners? Harish T. Tell you what, Ishan, you've brought up a good question there, and Harish has got on the back of that. I think Aidan Markram could be used every now and then for SRH just to get if you're going to use someone like Aidan Markram, it's got to be in a period where the runs have stopped and he can come on, bowl that cheap over and get a quick over out of the way so that you've got more options out the death to chop and change. So instead of having someone like Bhuvneshwar Kumar or another bowler for that matter, or Pat Cummins, having to bowl 2 overs straight in the death overs where the batsman's got 12 balls to line him up, then you can chop and change with 3 bowlers out the death overs so that a certain bowler's not bowling 2 overs from the one end. That is a fantastic insight there, Harish. And I agree with you. Aidan Markram should be bowling a bit more. Do you agree, Ishan?
Yep, Aidan Markram should certainly bowl, but not sure about Glenn Phillips. Like, he's kind of a Kedar sort of bowler. So sometimes he can chip in and take some wickets, but he has been a wicket keeper too, so can't like decide what exactly is his role. But
Yeah,
Aiden Markram for sure, he is a great bowler.
yeah.
Apart
I
from
don't know
being
whether
a batsman.
Yeah, I don't know whether Glenn Phillips can get in that team at the moment. So interesting, that one. Anupam Dev Burman, with the English players leaving the IPL midway, do you think teams like RR, Punjab Kings, KKR will be affected with this? Well, Punjab Kings will be, definitely. Rajasthan Royals, with Butler going. Um, I'm not too sure whether Rajasthan Royals are going to be fully affected, because I think Sanju Samson might be able to play that opening role. I think he's good enough to do that, and I think they can chop and change their lineup there. So Rajasthan Royals for me won't be too affected, and Butler has had a few lucky innings. KKR with Salt going, um, I think that will be a big problem, but I'm just hoping that they've done enough to be able to cement their place in the four out the back end before Salt goes. But look, this is the frustrating thing with the IPL or any T20 tournament, is players leaving halfway through. And the IPL, I think all the nations around the world have made a commitment to the IPL. The players should finish that contract with such a big tournament, because there is a lot of money involved, and a lot of this money that's made in the IPL does get siphoned down back to the ICC and does help out other playing nations. So that's the other thing that you've got to look at. India obviously got 1 billion people that love the game, and but you need that overseas influence as well to keep the quality at a high level as well. So it's one of those things where you've got to give and take, and I think England at this stage could probably give by keeping their players there. What do you think, Ishan?
Yeah, I think that this is kind of a 50-50 debate. Like, things can be said on both sides. Players should leave it and players shouldn't. I think that even the Indian players should take a break from the IPL to focus more on the internationals. Like, just like we see in the Big Bash, where I've rarely seen Mitchell Johnson and David Warner play in Big Bash. Like, some season with Sydney Thunder, I saw David Warner, and once or twice with Perth Scorchers, I saw Mitchell Johnson, but like, they mostly are busy with their national duties. So kind of that thing should happen with the IPL too. But again, it will spoil the brand and all the sporting event that take place along with the IPL. So it's a 50-50 thing.
Well, it is a 50-50 thing, and I think we've got to get the calendar right. I think we can cut
Yeah.
back on international cricket in as such, concentrate international cricket with tests, and the 50 over and the T20 more on World Cup scenarios. And yeah, you have a couple of months set aside for the IPL, a couple of months for Test cricket throughout the year, couple of months for international one days and T20s, and a couple of months for other nations to have their T20 tournaments. So there's specific windows for specific tournaments. And I think I really think that the IPL could just about run alongside the Pakistan League. So
Hmm.
both of them run together, because there's no Pakistan players able to play in the Indian League. Then all of a sudden, Pakistan can get some of the overseas players that are still good enough that haven't been picked up on the IPL auction, and that's a good tournament as well. So you've got two strong tournaments going side by side at the same time. I know there's that those political issues between India and Pakistan, but you still need Pakistan as a cricket nation going strong. And I can't wait for Pakistan to play India in this T20 World Cup. I think that's one of the big things that you guys look out for, don't you, Ishan?
Yeah, the organized calendar would be the best thing to approach this situation. Otherwise, I think international players, if they start avoiding their teams to play in the IPL, so the teams will become some sort of like West Indies, where players will start avoiding the national duty to play in the leagues. Of course, associated with other reasons as well. But yeah, I think that shouldn't happen more frequently, that players are skipping their national duties for IPL. So I think this is a good call from Salt, in spite of how it affects KKR.
Yep. Now, the game's about to start. We better finish off on Hog Out just before we go. Anyone who wants to be like Hishan and join me on Hog Out, just fill in the form, the Google chat box down there. There's a form there where you can come and join me on the live show. Now, Ishan, if we can get him back on, thanks so much for joining me, big fella. Absolutely loved your contributions. You're living there in Pune. You're going to go out and play a little bit of backyard cricket tomorrow. I'm going to try and give you a little bit of spin tip after you've bowled those first 2 overs of pace, and then you change up to spin. And I'll give you that offline. But thanks very much for joining me. Who's going to win tonight, Mumbai Indians or KKR?
KKR, of course.
How many runs are they going to put on the board for Mumbai to chase?
More than 220.
More than 220. If that's the case, well, Mumbai ain't winning tonight, and I've got to go for Kolkata Knight Riders tonight because, where am I? I did have it up here. It's gone. It's fallen. But, there was something there with KKR up there that I wanted to show. I've lost it. But KKR to win tonight. Thanks, everyone, for joining me on Hog Out. Thanks, Ishan, and namaste. Good luck to KKR and good luck to Mumbai Indians for the Mumbai fans. Catch you later. Hoggy out.